Welcome to Ladies Level Up Session 2.
We're glowing, we're growing, and we're conquering.
I'm Jasmine Jones Ball.
And I'm Desarae D. And I'm happy to be here. Are you happy to be here?
Always.
Yes.
Podcast versions feels like podcast.
Yeah. Couch sessions.
Couch sessions.
Yeah. So last week was a vibe. We got to talk about, a little bit about our journeys as musicians. We got to talk about, just some of the struggles that women musicians face in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's this week about?
Well, today we're going to talk about a few things, but I felt like, this is something that is important for all musicians, especially, us being Black women and going through mental health. It's a big topic in today's society, and I don't think we get to hear a lot about mental health from the musician's perspective, especially amongst women, right? I think most discussions have been centered around just like men and them being open to, having those discussions and being vulnerable. And I think as women, they expect us to be the strong ones, right? We're the ones that hold it down, right? In work, we hold it down in family. And we have to mask all of our emotions, all of our feelings to uphold everybody else. And I think it's important for us as women to have those discussions instead of trying to suppress everything. What do you think?
I 100% agree. It's hard. It's a constant, I don't want to use the word battle, but it's a constant part of my personal journey is just, how's my mental health today? I actually started journaling this in the morning before I even go anywhere. Just the thoughts come out, the goals get written down, the yesterday gets reflected on. And that has given my each day like more juice, more, ability to carry on and, perseverance and all that stuff. And of course that's helpful in music because I find music, as fun as it is to play, as nice as it is to do, it can bring about a lot of challenge. We are called to kind of bring our best and present it forward and stand on a stage and just, everyone that watches you must be entertained. And so that's not an easy thing to do day in, day out. There definitely takes an inner strength to be able to get up there, do your bit, not be afraid or be, you're trying to lift people up. But what if you're not lifted, Desarae? What if you're not lifted?
You know what? I almost feels like I have to put on a different mask when I'm in public, because I have people that are depending on me to give them a show or, give them this musical presentation. But as I'm giving that musical presentation, deep down, I'm like, I don't want to be here. Sometimes I have my struggles mentally. I'm just like, I'm not there, but I have to put on face. Because people are depending on me to give them something to make them feel better. But in reality, is what I'm doing making myself feel better?
Is it?
Well, one would think that, because we're in music, that music is healing. So we would presume that even though we are using music to heal others, that we would heal ourselves. But some days there are moments where I'm like, I don't want to play music today, even though I have to, use it as a way to help others.
Now the question comes to my mind is a lot of people can relate to waking up and not wanting to go to work that day or not feeling like it, right? You have the coffee and these things to get you going. Are you saying that it's similar sometimes, when you have to go play music, that maybe some days you don't want to get up and go?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, for me, I think there has to be some sort of balance when it comes to music, even though it's something that I love. If it's being treated like it's a job, which I feel like it shouldn't be, right? Especially if you're passionate about it, right? It should just be a part of your daily life. But you have those moments where it's like you're busy preparing, you're busy practicing, you're busy organizing, arranging, producing, being the songwriter, having all these different hats. And it's like, okay, I don't want to have this hat today. I don't want to wear this hat today. I just want to play, or I just want to break. How do we, as musicians, take a break?
Well, the simplest answer to that is we take a break, right? But it's not that, you don't just take a break, you got to plan it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something I've been doing this past maybe couple of years, is I've implemented taking breaks. There's the rhythm of taking a break, you know, once a week and just chilling and doing whatever I feel like, just one day a week. Some people call it a Sabbath. Just that rhythm has been so crucial. It's weird because as musicians, somewhere along the way we learned that we don't get to stop. If we stop, we slow down, we lose progress. There's all these weird fears in our head that we can't, you know, put things down and come back to it, which isn't healthy and it's not helpful. Yeah. Especially when you're doing something that's it's part of a creative journey. You cannot be creative when you're burnt out. Mm-mm. You cannot be creative when you're sad.
No.
I mean, maybe you can, but I mean, it's not fun.
Right.
So the simplest answer is to plan and take breaks. It's not easy, but you just have to kind of know that it's okay and that you deserve it.
Yeah.
And that will actually make you more fruitful in the end, both in creativity, relationships, all that type of stuff. So yeah, my last 2 years have probably been the most fruitful 2 years I've ever had, because why? I don't know. Rest.
Yes.
Magic word.
Yep.
Okay, that's my piece.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you're back to your point of, you know, if we take a break, we are, you know, not useful, right? But I think people fail to understand that when you take a break, you can still be productive. Right?
If you want. Explain that, though. I want to hear a little more.
It's something that I had to learn, especially with all the hats that I wear, right? In addition to being a musician, I'm a content creator, right? I produce music. Prime example, during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was kind of going through a transitional point in my career where I was finally coming into my sound. And I thought to myself, how can I create music with this new sound? So for most people, during that first year, they were home doing nothing, right? Me, I was coming into this new era in my career, and I was like, no, I have to make sure I take advantage of that. So what I did was I wrote a bunch of songs for the whole year, right? So when I got to a point where, okay, I'm kind of burning out, I need rest, I'm resting knowing that I don't have to produce anything for the next maybe 2-3 years because I did that already, right? Okay. So from that perspective, yeah, content creation, right? Most people plan their content in advance, recording in advance, right? So from that perspective, me taking a break and not doing anything, knowing that what I've already done and the foundation that I've already set, I don't have to do anything, right? I know that, okay, I don't really need to write a song today because I have a bunch of songs, right? I don't have to put out any content because the content that I've put out is sustainable.
Actually, you're like, how does one rest more than just setting it up? And you are actually speaking on a point. Like, when I found that I was setting my rhythms for rest, it made me have to be more focused on the days that I was working. And even just when you're setting up, because you're like, okay, I'm going to rest this particular day. So the other days, I was so more mindful of producing whatever I needed to produce, just like, you know, whatever it was. And then when that day hit, I'm off. Yeah. But I don't know, it was more focused and creating and doing what I had to do. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
And then even resting is giving yourself more fuel to pick back up and create.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you're burnt out, you can't create from a place of burnout. You can't create from a place of tiredness and frustration. Well, you can, but it depends on where that frustration is coming from, right? Like, I feel like if I'm frustrated about something, that could affect my work that I produce, right? Yeah, I could write while I'm frustrated, but then I probably wouldn't produce my best work. And it would make more sense for me to just rest and just allow my body to recoup all the energy that I've put out, right? And you may think that you're not being productive by resting, but you actually are, because you are giving yourself that needed boost of energy. You're giving your mind time to kind of slow all the way down, so that when that next work week or work day, depending on how long your rest period is, some people take a whole week off after going and going and going and going for multiple weeks, because sometimes you need to do that, right? If it's not a rest day, it could be a rest week. But you have to be intentional about not doing anything, because even though we have these rest periods, we just have that urge to want to do something. But you have to really sit yourself down and say to yourself, okay, if this is a rest day, it means it's a rest day. I'm not doing anything.
You know, like sometimes during my rest, I find myself basically doing whatever I feel like doing. So sometimes I'll end up on the drums just playing what I feel like playing versus what I have to learn for something or what I have to refine or some kind of practice regimen. Yeah, sometimes, you know, you get in connection with, like, I just want to sit here and play and enjoy and feel. That does happen on my rest sometimes. I'm just, you know, it's not work.
I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I cut the grass too and play basketball and run around and whatever. Binge watch shows.
Hey, listen, binge watching is my thing, especially like now. I don't have time to watch TV these days, right? So if I have that one show that I'm probably like 15 or 20 episodes behind in, I'm going to use that rest day as a binge watching day, right? But I like what you said about, you know, playing your instrument because not just for fun and not because you have to do it.
We used to do that. We used to do that. Yes. We can still do that.
We can. But the thing is, like, I know for myself personally, if I go onto that instrument, I'm going to want to work on something. So I literally will have to take a whole break from it. Because if I don't, then I'm going to have that little itch that's like, okay, let's write something today. But really, I should be resting.
Rest is rest.
Yeah. So what do you do? Like, if you're resting and, you know, you want to pick up your instrument and then you feel like you have to work.
Don't call it work. Can it be sold? Is it monetary? Can it be monetized? Yeah, maybe in the future. But if you're thinking that way, it's work. If it's just for pleasure, you can create. I mean, when you get back like to working, you can always pick that back up again. You know, it'll come back to you if it was meant to be.
Yeah. Another thing, I know for myself, sometimes I find that when I play my instrument, it gives me healing. Has that ever happened to you?
Absolutely. I remember when I broke my leg a long, long time ago, and you know, it was a terrible experience, but I managed to sit on the drums, like the first time I got back to sitting on drums with a cast on, and I started playing like some worship song, and tears are like flowing from my eyes. I was like, what's happening here? What are these drums doing to me? Playing's definitely healing. Definitely, yeah. That's my point.
Yeah, no, I feel like if I'm having moments of, I don't know, being anxious, being worried, or feeling some sort of depression coming on, I feel like, okay, I need to go on my instrument. And for some reason, I just start playing, and I just feel like all of this weight coming off as I'm playing. and I feel so much lighter.
So is music the answer to mental health issues?
Ooh. I mean, there's so many facets of mental health. I mean, anxiety, depression, you name it. But what about those things like self-sabotage and imposter syndrome? Can music heal those?
I think the larger part of that is dealt with off your instrument. You know, maybe with a friend, talking to a therapist, journaling, reading. I think, but being on your instrument and practicing it, being confident in that also helps with imposter syndrome, because you're like, you're getting better, you're refining your skills, you feel more like you feel proud and whatever it is. Like it's dealt with on both fronts, off the instrument and on the instrument, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know myself just growing up and, you know, learning and honing my skills as a musician. There were moments where I didn't feel confident enough in my abilities, right? And of course you find yourself like watching others and, you know, wondering like, am I ever going to be this good? Or am I ever going to be that good? You know, and then you have those doubts. And it's almost as if you've put in all this work for you to doubt yourself. And you don't, you know, acknowledge how far you've come in your growth as a musician. But your first thought is, I don't know if I'm good enough.
I would say sometimes we don't let ourselves enjoy the journey, enjoy how far we've come, you know, and enjoy even our mistakes and our, you know, the ability to, you know, move, play. So I think we just have to learn to be a lot nicer to ourselves, not so hard on ourselves. I think people don't even realize all of the noise that's in our head, even while we're playing, you know, in the car on the way to the gig or whatever it is. We have a lot of sometimes negative self-talk that people don't see. They just see the makeup and the smiles, but there's a lot going on often.
Yeah.
But we just gotta be nicer to ourselves, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
How can we be nicer to ourselves as musicians?
I'm gonna come back. Hey. Welcome. Welcome. We're having we're having like a discussion. Are you here to attend as well?
Yeah. I'm usually here on Mondays, but I know I wasn't here last week, so
okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I heard great things about both of you. I think I saw like your picture mainly, but
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
no, I think I saw your picture as well. Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your name and tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's Christine. I'm usually here on Mondays. I like to experiment and play with the drums mainly, but
You're a
Yeah,
drummer.
you got a
That's
drummer.
like
That's
we're
awesome.
like, you know, we want to know what people do. You're a drummer.
well, still learning. Still have a lot to learn, so
So same.
How long have you been playing the drums?
literally since I think like September, but I still have so much to learn.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
okay. You know what? It's okay to still have a lot to learn.
Exactly.
Like, I've been playing for 27 years. I'm still learning.
Exactly.
And I think that we have this thing as musicians, and I get this question all the time from people who are learning how to play piano. So, how quick can I be good? And I said, are you looking for quantity or are you looking for quality?
So true.
Right? And you can't really rush the process of being a musician, right? You can't expect to be good in 6 weeks or 6 months unless you're a child prodigy. But you should enjoy the journey of being a musician. You should always want to yearn to learn more, because there's so many things you can learn about your instrument. There's so many people who are, you know, skilled in certain aspects of your instrument, right? And you should want to be an active learner, an active student of your instrument. Don't think that, okay, after 5 years, okay, I'm the best. I don't need to learn anything else, right? And then you go to like a shed and you see somebody playing the drums and they're doing like this wicked lick, and you're like, oh, I've never done that before. And then you start to think, oh, maybe there is more I can learn.
That's right.
Right? So you always should think about it in that perspective, not, expecting to know all there is to know about your instrument, because you could come across something in your journey and be like, oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Right? So it's okay if you started in September. That's great. The best part is starting. Most people don't start.
Exactly that.
I know.
Exactly that.
So you just beat out a lot of people by starting.
I know. The amount of people that are like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Do it then.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly
So
that.
congratulations on even starting.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, Des,
Yeah.
so before we were talking about mental health. I mean, I know mental health has been a popular topic the past couple of years, but the way it affects musicians, oh, heavy.
We
Because
always hear about it in the
we're
public.
creatives.
Yeah.
We're women in a male-dominated industry. So there's a lot that goes on, and so we've just been talking about that type of stuff. I don't know if to go over that stuff again or if it just comes up naturally, but I'm just letting you know, like, kind of the things that we deal with and that we're dealing with and that we will always deal with.
Yeah. I think I kind of want to know from your perspective, being a musician that's kind of getting started and getting your heels in, like, have you ever had any mental health struggles or challenges?
Yeah, I think definitely insecurity, lack of confidence, comparison. Those are so
those are all of our list. You just went through our list. Yeah.
That's surprising, because I know I saw on your social medias, I'm like, you just would never assume, because I think we kind of all do put out an image, on social media, for example, and and I think that's some people do like to share the realness of what they go through, but I think with musicians and just the industry, with music videos and all that, it's just the industry of kind of perfectionism and just the image of your image. It has to be perfect, it has to be up to par, it has to be trendy. So it's surprising to hear from you both that you go through those similar issues of comparison or whatnot.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, because everybody expects us to, I guess, be perfect. Once you're a musician, nothing's wrong with you.
Can we segue into social media
Yes.
branding? Because that was our next point, social media branding. And I know you're just, getting going, but it's weird. Yes, there's a musical aspect of social media and branding. So there's the normal aspect of it, do my vacation pictures look good enough? But then now the picture of that, with music and social media and how one uses it. Yeah. Desarae has a plan, a method, or whatever. I have a different approach to how I do music and drums, but yours is more legit. Mine's is more personal. But
well, let's start with, do I want to showcase myself on social media? Because I'm sure that's the first question, right? I hate recording myself. I'm just being honest. People will see my page and they're like, oh my God, she's so confident. She's such a vibe. People, you love it. But I don't like it.
I thought you loved it.
Listen, you see how social media is, right? You have to put on this persona because, you're trying to showcase who you are, but people don't really know the real. I remember just wanting to share. For years I hid, right? I put myself in a box and I hid inside that box because I was comfortable. And I didn't want to be uncomfortable. But I just had this yearning to want to share my perspective on music. And then, my friends would be like, well, you're going to have to record yourself. And I'm like, oh, I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way my voice sounds. I'm just being honest, like be real, right? I hate recording myself. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, set up a camera and I'm just gonna practice and just record and see what it looks like, right? And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And I think at that time I was studying Robert Glasper. Not sure if you're familiar who that is, but he's like one of my musical influences. And I was just spent the summer listening to his music, and I learned a couple of his songs. So I was like, okay, I learned one of his songs. I was like, okay, I'm gonna record this. So I recorded it, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And of course, Instagram came out in 2013, something like that. So I hadn't gotten an Instagram page, but it was literally just like posting, as you said, vacation photos and photos of myself. And I didn't think, post videos. So started posting videos, and people started getting interested. And I was like, oh, people do like this. Okay, maybe I should keep doing it. So I kept doing it. And because I'm such a creative person, I started coming up with all these different musical series. So I started covering songs. So in 2017, I came up with a series called Cover Tuesdays. So I posted a cover every Tuesday for 5 years.
Wow.
And that's the thing about being a musician and being a content creator. It's a lot of work. Like people don't get it.
That's why I don't do it.
It's a lot of work.
I'm not a content creator.
If you don't have a passion for content creation, don't do it.
I don't have a passion for it.
Don't do it. If you don't have a passion for it, don't do it. But I felt great about it because people liked it. So I was like, okay, cool, I like this. So I kept doing it, and then I start connecting with artists across the world. They saw my stuff. Hey, I saw you in my Explore page. I'd love to collaborate with you. I was like, oh, okay, people are paying attention. Cool. So I started collaborating with people across the globe. UK, Asia, South America, United States, you name it. Just because I made a conscious decision to just put myself out there. And I tell people all the time, you never know what will happen when you put yourself out there. It's scary. Don't get me wrong, I was nervous about putting a video up. But look at the rewards I've been reaping. I got contacted by one of the top producers in in gospel music, Michael Burrell, right? Oh, okay. He saw my stuff.
Wow.
He wrote, somebody commented and said, Mike Burrell liked this. I didn't even know who he was at the time. And when I saw him, I said, let me do some research. Found out he's done production for all the top gospel artists and all of that. We exchanged contact information. I can call him right now if I want to.
Oh, okay.
I got in touch with Doobie Powell. We met on Twitter, followed me on social media. He did a challenge. I said, let me try the challenge. He reposted the video.
Oh, nice.
Right? And it's like, you never know what will happen once you start putting yourself out there. Once I started doing that.
No, that's wonderful. I'm going to chime in because I have to present my basic plan.
Yes.
My basic, when I say basic, I mean...
No, it's not basic. Don't put yourself at basic.
No, but okay, so I don't want to be a content creator on social media. I want to more use it as a digital resume. So people, they go to my page and then they like, what can she do? And they scroll up and they, I have a lack of actual playing videos on there. So that's something I have to put more up and work on and such. But either way, they scroll up and I get all these messages. Can so it's like that. It's like a website, but not, So I'm kind of cool with that. I'm like maybe 80% of it is my music stuff, and then maybe 20% personal, whatever. Just because I want to be a person, I want you to look up. Yeah. That's me scrolling up. But yeah, I'm not necessarily trying to be a content creator. That being said, 20 years ago and many years ago, the digital space wasn't a space. All of our music had to be played live and in person, and that was the only space. But now, as it is, now that it is a space, I think it's a whole other arena. that you can consider. You don't have to even be all the way here or all the way here to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You can use it as long as you figure things out, And so I'm not here to say to use it or not use it, but it is a part of our life. So it's a venue. It's a venue. Oh, that's a big one.
I like that.
It's a whole venue.
Yep.
So consider that, and that we all have different approaches and that. So that's my little social media thing. It's working out.
Yeah.
Always areas to grow.
Absolutely.
Please encourage me to make live playing videos.
Jasmine, I encourage you to do.
Please encourage me. Thank you.
Jasmine, do you record yourself when you do your musical?
No, I need to. I'm going to get a better phone. Anyways, you see, we're always progressing.
But the thing is, you don't even need a phone. You can get like a GoPro.
Yeah.
Right?
The angles.
And get the angles.
Are kind of, yeah.
I'm going to challenge you.
She's helping me level up. I came here to get leveled up.
I'm going to challenge you,
partner.
Jasmine. And you don't even have to post it if you don't want to. But it's just for your personal development.
I need this.
Right?
Desarae.
I implore you to buy a GoPro. Mm-hmm. Or use whatever you have. You don't have to spend any money if you already have a recording device. Use it. But if you want to level up, buy yourself a GoPro.
I needed this.
Right?
Thank you, Desarae.
And just record yourself at all of your gigs.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to post it on social media. You could just use it as a tool to see your growth.
It's true.
Right? I look back on all of the videos that I've recorded. It's so funny. I posted something on social media, I think last year, just like a comparison video. I posted a video that I did in 2014, and then I did a video from 2022 and saw the amount of growth over 8 years. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I used to play like that. Wow. And then I look at it now and I'm like, you have that moment you never think that you could level up that much because you're not even really paying much attention to it until you actually see 2 comparison videos. And I'm like, somebody said to me the other day, you don't understand how much you have grown as a musician. And I think we tend to not think about that because we're so focused on like our journeys and the end goal that we don't even look back at how far we've come. Oh, I used to play like this in 2014, but it's 2023. And I'm like, huh? Okay. Do you ever have that moment? Like, I know you started in September, but we're in May now. So that's 8 months? Have you seen any growth from your end?
Well, I think I could relate that to life in general. Yeah. It's just like looking back on videos or pictures, I'm like, time flies. And exactly what you're saying, we're so focused on the journey and just, I don't know, like day to day, like survival, like whatever it is. So yeah, it's crazy to see that we don't sometimes take the time to like smell the roses.
The roses,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to give ourselves our roses now.
Yes.
I don't know how. I want to play.
You want to play?
Like I want to play together. I want to start to draw music out.
Yes.
But and I'm tempted by this drum set in the corner to be like, well, can it
I'm
serve
sure
us?
we can probably get it on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Let's figure it out.
Yeah. We can get you playing something too.
Have we made it through our talking points?
Pretty much. I mean, if there's anything, we can always come back and chat a little bit more. Okay. Right? So I definitely want to play.
You want to play?
Yeah.
Can you start me out? Okay, I'm gonna ask about this this kit here and just see what can go on.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.